Hold up, hold up, hold up. This has got to be the weirdest start to a stream ever.
What's that?
You approve of the music, Joe?
I do. I don't know why, but I do.
It's different. It is. This is our Viking.
Felt kind of, I don't know. It feels inspiring.
YouTube bill this as the Viking music.
I like it. I'll go with that.
Not very Viking-y though, right?
Kind of.
I don't see Thor getting up in the morning to this kind of vibe, dude.
It goes better with the art that Scotty Lopez provided.
Lovely art as well.
Has a better flow.
A lovely art, yes. And a big shout out to Scotty. Now you might have noticed yesterday, folks, Scotty was in, he was out, he was back again. And unfortunately, the big man has got some kind of like violent stomach bug.
Like stomach virus or something. Yeah, not good.
Nothing worse when something like that strikes you, Joe. That wipes you clean out. So, a lot of love and energy to Big Scotty boy. Yes, indeed.
I'm sure. Much like you guys experience there too. Typically, at the start of the school year, you get the little germ bags all gathered together and spread their germs amongst each other, and then it kind of fans out from there.
That's one name for them. Yes.
Yeah, and so that's what happens. It's the it's an annual thing, almost a tradition, if you will, akin to the running of the sheeple.
The running of the noses.
Everybody gets sick. Yeah, the running of the noses.
Yeah.
And
the big time. Flu shots coming up. Flu shots are coming up as well.
By the way, yeah, the World Health Organization has already come out and said, "Oops, we missed the bus on this one this year."
Oh,
yeah.
Say it isn't so. You mean they didn't you mean they based it on last year's one and it's not the same as last year's as they do?
Last year they missed it too. They didn't get it.
Yeah.
See, the thing about the flu shot is that it's a dice roll every time as far as they guess what strain it's going to be. And oftentimes they get it wrong. So
well, Joe, when I looked into this, right,
again,
they know they're going to get it wrong, right? But they bank on having it enough kind of familial RNA markers that were in the previous years, so that it's just enough for the immune system to pick it up and recognize it. You know, rolling a dice, anyone?
See. And that's the problem, is because, while the concept is wonderful, it's all of the love. We live in an age now where we don't want extra shit in our things. We just don't want it. We're hip to it now. We don't want BPA. We don't want MSG.
Our shit meters are at full. We're tanked out on shit.
Yeah. So like our generation had it. Our generation and our parents' generation had it forced down our throats. Why? Because, well, we really didn't know. Shame on our parents for not really looking, because they trusted, right? And so we kind of were like, this isn't right, a la this organic revolution, if you will, and this anti-vax type of movement that's out there. It's pushed back because people are reading the labels, they're reading the pamphlets, they're doing the research, and they're making informed decisions more than they ever have in a very long time. So it's having an impact, and I would hope to see that perhaps you could get these vaccines with like a preservative-free type of thing, where you don't have to worry about that, where you don't have to worry about all the additives and adjuvants in there that do all that damage.
It's a Masonic conspiracy. Yes, it's a flu shot that turns you black and white.
Yeah.
It's the Masons. Everything is blamed on the Masons in this chat room. You should know that, Joe.
I know. It's the Masons. And also, well, you could take it the other way, too. Because then you have the freakazoids, like that dude that drank colloidal silver by the liter and turned himself blue.
Yep.
So, what was he? Was that a Masonic type of thing?
He literally turned himself into a lightning rod.
Trying to bring the Smurfs back from another age. I mean,
Smurfs. Now that was a good game back in the day on the ZX81. Yeah, the Smurfs. It probably couldn't have the Smurfs anymore. Probably a bit racist, Joe. Showing too much favor to blue people.
Yeah, and then also, a commune with only one woman.
What's going on there? What's going on there, I ask?
I don't know. What do they kill off the women?
And not
I
one
mean,
traffic
the
cone, not
list
one
was
traffic cone in sight.
very tribal in nature, right? But we never did get to see the dark side of the Smurf, the whole Smurf lore and everything else. All we ever got to see is the good, cute stuff. Kind of like Gremlins, right? Gremlins, they had the cute side, then they didn't.
Papa Smurf had a cellar, folks.
I'm
He had a
telling you,
cellar
it's,
where naughty,
it's
naughty bad things happened.
Papa Smurf Fritzl.
Yeah, yeah. Joseph
I'm telling
Smurf. Maybe it's going to be one of these shows, right?
you.
Dear Lord. And I tell you, some of the stuff that we have found today, I don't even know how you present this. I don't even know how you get into it. Last night we were taking a look at this thing, Object Philia, and we came across the lady who had been in love with an airplane for 5 years. And of course, in recent times, we found out about the traffic cones, all that kind of thing. So I thought I'll go and take a little look around and see what it actually says about object philia. So, decoding object philia, Joe. 5 reasons, and it gets into like the psychology and all this kind of thing. It's quite cool. 5 reasons why people fall in love with objects, okay? So, from falling in love with your laptop to marrying a train station, don't judge, folks. Don't be judgy, okay? Just because you might enjoy a happy heterosexual relationship and you can't wrap your head around somebody wanting to marry a train station, don't be judgy. That's all I say. Experts, how do you become an expert in this? They try to explain the bizarre relationship trend of falling in love with objects. Now, if it's a trend, that suggests to me that something is causing this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and not only that, but it would be widespread at that because it's a trend.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Maybe it's more widespread than we know, though, which is even more worrying. But it says here the human approach towards relationship is getting weirder and harder. It's already hard to find a suitable partner or sustain a relationship these days. And when you hear about people falling in love with objects, it complicates matters even further, you think? If humans start to prefer objects rather than their own species, then you're literally lost for words.
Let me stop you there for a second. Okay, objectphilia. So, would that also be akin to a child and a teddy bear?
No, no, this is quite a teddy bear, yes.
Right? Because now you show love and affection towards this inanimate object that's just a teddy bear full of freaking stuffing of nylon or polyester. And
there's a difference between love and then being like turned on by it.
No, but I guess the lines get blurred now because more and more of these teddy bears are smart teddy bears. They're like AI teddy bears, right? They respond to things. They're responsive. It takes that bond and that interaction to another level.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's real.
And then
it is to the person,
Joe,
right?
I can't get out of my mind when Charlie Robinson was on the show and he pointed out the fact that really heinous bad guy that met a really untimely or very predictable death in the MCC in New York, he was funding the people that are behind baby Sophia dolls. Literally dolls that would interact with children in their bedrooms.
Oh, there's certainly more to the story there, man.
Oh, huge, dude, huge. So anyway, it says here, object philia or object sexuality refers to individuals who tend to develop strong romantic attachments or bonds with objects or structures. The term came to light earlier this year when 45-year-old American Carol Santa Fe made headlines for marrying a train station.
That is just absolutely unbelievable.
Bizarre.
I never heard of that until now.
No, we got in touch with experts Shivani Misri Sadhu, psychologist and relationship counsellor Sadhu Anathatharam, that'll do, from Your Dost, who list 5 reasons why one could be suffering from object philia. So it says people who are extremely shy and lonely have difficulty in establishing normal relationships. Engaging in a routine conversation is hard for them. They have a vacuum in their life, which they fill by having relationships with objects such as dolls, phones, or jewelry, etc. So it says one-sided relationship. Some people prefer a one-sided relationship because they aren't great at receiving feedback. They also have extremely fragile egos, so they don't like it if their partner talks back or disagrees with them. In order to avoid arguments or disagreements, such people prefer a relationship with an object rather than an actual human being. Wow. So it says not a pleasant childhood. In few cases, people don't have a pleasant childhood while growing up. This could be for various reasons. However, this affects their capability to form healthy relationships with other people. They feel that relationship with objects is easier as an object is unable to hurt their feelings, which might get hurt in an actual relationship. And when you think about it that way, then it sure wipes the smile off of my face, that's for sure. Says it's all in the structure. Yes, indeed. Likes a good figure on these structures that they're into. At times, people have a very specific, or let's just say weird preference for physical attributes of a structure. For example, a few years ago, 46-year-old American Erica Labrie married the Eiffel Tower in France because she was enamored by its structure. Psychologists are still trying to figure this one out yet. Animism. Now, according to experts, animism is one of the strangest reasons why we can suffer from objectphilia. Animism, that's a horrible word to say, is the religious belief that objects and structures possess a distinct spiritual presence. Hence, that doll is possessed. Yes, let that sink in. Potentially, animism perceives all things, animals, plants, rocks, rivers, weather systems, human handiwork, as animated and alive. So we'll just leave it at that. That's interesting there, and I do think animals certainly have a spirit. Do rocks, do rivers, do weather systems? Does everything have a level of consciousness, even if we don't particularly understand it? I don't know. So coming down, it says, obesity brings with it a host of... hang on, have we moved into some other story now? Yeah, we have. This is a different story altogether. Yeah, so there you go, folks. That was that one there. I don't know. It's obviously a problem, or it's something that's... somebody in the chat room says it's a disorder. I don't know, it's quite weird, I think. And when you look at the whole side where maybe there's something going on in childhood and there's some psychological damage that way, then perhaps, the way they've been treated by human beings in the past, maybe that's one reason why they opt not to go near human beings anymore. And Joe, I don't know. There's obviously... I can understand it. It was talking about when people maybe have a bad childhood, without getting into all the dark stuff. But I can imagine that might leave some people with almost a feeling that they can't trust humans anymore. It must
just keep it vanilla for a second, right?
Oh, big time.
I think that the fact that inanimate objects more and more are able to respond is really a key factor in the increase in this. You could talk about all the psychological factors or the abuse that might have led to it. I think that's pretty standard fare. You know what I mean? That you do that. Plus, there's been an increase, or at least an increased awareness in autism and what that is. And I don't, being the father of 2 autistic kids, I can tell you that it's not what you think it is. That's the thing, is it's not... autism's a very, very complex thing. We used to look at people a lot differently. I guess to say with blinders more so than anything else. And they didn't call it out autism, but it was always the kids at school that never kind of fit in.
Yeah, a bit different, a bit socially awkward.
Right. Those are the kind of people today that we consider to be autistic. the only thing is we just never recognized them as that in the past. So,
Joe, at one
yeah,
stage, people like that would have been thrown into asylums
yeah,
and
yeah.
state care
The
and things like that.
more dramatic ones, yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that had the heavier, but uh, with my kids, one thing that I've noticed is, um, all it is they thrive. They just thrive where they need to thrive. In our case, if I put them in a public school, that'd be the worst thing for them. Be, it would be hell on earth for them, only because they can't go into a cookie cutter situation and thrive. It just doesn't compute with them. So they have to go in a situation that's tailored for them. And when they do, they thrive. But anything outside of that, they can't handle. And that's a lot of kids out there. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them stupid. It just makes them different. And Einstein, he said it best. He said, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life thinking that it's stupid. And it's true. I mean, sometimes people are fish out of water, and it's it's a tough situation for them. So if you adapt it and you find out, oh wow, this is their strengths, and you tailor it to that, all that goes away. And look at the works of Einstein and Edison and Tesla. They were all, you know, but were they?
Well, look at
That's
Musk today. Look how
look at
socially awkward he is. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
big time. Even
yep.
dyslexia at one point was enough to get you called stupid and kind of thrown into the back of the class.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Big time.
And some people just see things differently.
Yeah.
And if you let it develop naturally instead of snuff it out like we do with our cookie cutter education systems, you end up seeing uh, somebody totally different. That's all I can say. And
I just see it as these people are wired differently. That's all. Like
they
you,
are very much
yeah,
so.
that's all
Very
it
much.
is. Big
And
time.
it's just a revelation that I think we didn't understand, and now we do. We know better, some of these things about people, and that's why you see the numbers reflected as far as, here in the United States, the amount of people that homeschool, vice go to public school, or that put their kids from public to private school, those that can afford it, and there's a push afoot to do more, like voucher systems, or like uh, I can't remember what it was, something like, charter schools, if you will, something like that, to where you can kind of choose where you want to send your kid instead of where the government tells you to send them. So people are becoming more creative, and also coming to the conclusion that, wow, it's not like it used to be, where technology was not conducive to individual learning. But now, with technology advancing to the way it is, and more computer-based training, more um, like online capabilities, and with
Yeah, that's where I think
bandwidth,
AI is going to come in as well. Be priceless. It's going to be able
yeah,
to look at a student,
AI,
yeah,
right?
student's
So you
record. It'll
have
look at the historical record, and it's going to identify where the gaps are. It might. I think it could really tailor to the individual. Perfect kind of education, at least learning tools that they need anyway. I don't know. And of course, there'll be the push for AI in the classroom, Joe. We see that happening all the time. So yeah,
oh, yeah.
things are changing for sure.
I can't, personally, in that regard, in the as far as the advance or the pursuit of knowledge, oh, that is going to be such a moment when, and oh, woe is me, the teachers are going to lose their jobs. It's not like we didn't warn you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
It's not like we didn't warn you. You're in a profession where it is an absolute certainty that you are going to be obsolete very soon.
And
Very
with
soon.
with all the propaganda that they've been pushing on kids, especially recently with the climate and things like that, I'm sure a lot of the teachers, even they must be absolutely sickened, Joe, at what their professions become.
Well, not
Because an education, that's almost an afterthought now. It
not
is
that,
said
but
all
think
the time, it's indoctrination, dude.
but think about this too from a municipal level. Think about all the retirement money and the pensions that have to be paid out that they don't have the money for.
Yep, good
So
point.
the sooner they deploy AI, the sooner that becomes less of an issue and they can start pounding away at that, the less they're putting towards teachers' salaries, the more they can put towards, funding that really underfunded
See,
retirement
Joe, this is
system.
why it's really important now that we're moving from just machine learning, recognizing patterns, to the ability for the AI to know things like cause and effect, context, conversational AI, because
Yeah, right.
if we're going to be deploying it on like the kind of scale that we're saying here, education, then it's got to have that ability to have that instantaneous, almost human-like conversation with the child. And that's where we're at right now. So this is right around the corner. I'd never even thought about the whole pension scam thing as well, Joe. You know, that's
Yeah.
another incentive for them to get this rolling.
Think
Tell me,
about
man.
this. Washington, D.C. spends the most per capita here in the United States per child in their public school system at $33,000 a child.
Oh, 33, you say? A nice Masonic number.
I'm a son.
The Masons done it. The Masons done it. Do they teach the woo in that school, Joe? Do they have a Lodge 101?
I don't know,
No?
but I can tell you this. John Nelson in the chat room, he's all into this objectphilia. He's going to marry his coffee machine.
Damn, dude. Coffee machines. I must admit, I do have a relationship with the coffee. But there's worse than objectphilia.
coffee
There's
itself.
worse than objectphilia because it's the Sunday stream. Things get weird. It's the rabbit hole roller coaster, and we're starting to pick up speed now.
Oh boy.
New Jersey man allegedly threatened his farmer friends. Why? Because they denied him happy fun time with their livestock. That's why.
Now, you coming from the Highlands, you can.
I can appreciate more than most.
I kind of figured. How do you feel about this? Because here's a man.
Mixed feelings.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
you see, his problem is he got violent about it.
And it's quite vague. It doesn't say whether the farmers are actually friends or not, because if they claim to be friends, they're no friends of this man.
And I don't get it. Like, why did this guy get so mad after calling? Well, anyway.
Because, Joe, did you know that chickens prefer attractive people? And look at that. Look at him there, man. He is the picture. He's an
got,
Adonis.
He's got kind of a chicken. I see the similarity here.
Do you think he's got a bit of a buck look about him? We don't know, though. Maybe he's not into chickens, dude.
Well, I can tell you right now, listen to this. A New Jersey man was arrested for asking local farmers permission to have sex with their animals and then threatening the farmers and damaging their cars when refused. Richard Decker, 31, began sending the message to Sussex County farms and horse stables in 2018, asking the animal caregivers if he could have sex with their cows and horses. So no chickens.
No chickens. No chickens were harmed in the making of this story.
He goes big. He wants cows and horses. When the farmers rejected Decker, he allegedly sent threats and placed homemade metal spikes on their driveways to damage their tires.
This dude was pissed, man. He was really pissed.
In one case, he threatened to beat a farmer's wife with a wooden stick.
If you don't let me near that horse, I swear your wife's getting it.
That's serious shit. I'll tell you that right now, man. He's really hard up for something.
They put out stingers so they couldn't get away and started chasing people with a stick.
And some horseplay, yeah.
Oh, bad, Joe, bad.
The property owners reported their tires have been damaged with spikes. Deckard was arrested in Vernon Township on October 3rd after police searched his home. God only knows what they found there. That's all I'm going to say. OMG.
A smorgasbord of incriminating evidence, I fear.
I would have to probably say, yeah. There was probably a lot of that.
Do you think he kept his red room coned off? Of course, the red room, you know. Is it Mr. Grey, Dr. Grey? Not that I'd watched these things. Anne told me it's something.
Now,
I'll
you
blame
said
her.
coned off, but...
Did he cone it off? Yeah.
And what did he do with said cones?
I don't know, because after seeing a website today, I don't know what to make of traffic cones. Some people are saying that they may actually be an alien race that have been sent here to invade us. I can't figure out if this is one man's cry for help or satire, but I don't know anymore, Joe. So
It's so hard to tell. But let me say this, Kev. Somebody took an awful long time
to put
go
together
ahead
this website,
together. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
big time.
Yeah.
just to give you a taste of it, it isn't known if this stealth cone. Now, the pictures have obviously been banned on this website. There's obviously national secrets or cone secrets. I don't know. But it says it's not known if this stealth cone is on its side because it's dead or simply resting after a long protracted bout of conical terrorism. Perhaps it was killed by passing vigilante cyclists. Perhaps it just died of coneliness. Perhaps it is simply attempting to remain inconspicuous by pretending to be dead. Maybe it was killed by other cones because of its invisibility devices malfunctioned, and they wish to ensure that it doesn't reveal the cone's world domination plans if it gets captured and tortured. Brackets, kill brackets.
Oh, kill brackets.
However, I have heard anecdotal evidence from some concerned, should that be concerned or concerned, citizens with experience of torturing captured traffic cones that they are, quote, tough little plother mothers who never talk. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, who knew? Yeah, you see this, the hole at the road cones point. This is a website dedicated to
Dedicated to traffic cones.
aliens ride bicycles too. Aliens land, Martian landings on a Bristol to Bath cycle path.
Traffic cones world domination plans?
Yes.
They have, master plan here. This evil alien traffic cone invader has developed a cunning new tactic. As you can see, it has smashed the manhole cover and is lurking inside, blah, blah. We can't see the picture.
I know they've banned the pictures on the website. You
can't even really appreciate the true nature of the power of the traffic cone.
Who knew, Joe? Who knew?
No idea. No idea that even existed. Wow.
So yeah, I probably think for this Jersey Devil here, when he's chased out of the US, he'll probably be welcomed in Wales or Scotland.
I don't know, man. He likes it. He likes the big boys or the big girls or something. I don't even know how he does it.
I was going to say the logistics with a horse.
Yeah, it's not quite. I'm trying to figure out how they marry up, and it's.
No, it's not good.
Any way you slice it.
No.
Not
at all.
I don't know what his deal is, but okay.
Okay, so I've got another one here. I've got another story, and this even had you thinking, wow, what the heck? And it takes you back to your childhood, Joe.
Does it really?
Yeah, because it features a big pink hotel.
That's right.
And look at this, man.
The big pink hotel. The Don Caesar Hotel.
A Tampa woman is suing a hotel after a waiter adds liquid nitrogen to her drink. Now, in all fairness, that makes it sound like this waiter was really deliberately going after her drink. But when you get into it, well, let's just take a look, because it says a Tampa.
It's really a horrific accident.
It's an accident. It's an accident because the guy didn't intentionally do it to her. It says a Tampa woman is suing the Don Caesar Hotel for serious injuries after she suffered after liquid nitrogen was poured into her drink. Now, according to the lawsuit, Stacey Waggers was celebrating her birthday with a friend on November the 11th, 2018, when the incident happened. She claims that the waiter who was using liquid nitrogen on another guest's dessert to make it smoke added the chemical to her water. So it was indirectly, it got into her drink, Joe. And it goes on to talk about some of the things that she suffered, because it says Waggers says that after taking a sip of the water, she became so sick she was rushed to the hospital. And the incident forced Waggers or Vagers to have her gallbladder and part of her stomach removed. She also suffered severe burns to her stomach and has not been able to eat or digest food properly since. That's pretty horrendous, Joe.
But think about that. I mean, you don't understand how cold liquid nitrogen is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an instant burn. So it took out part of her stomach or gallbladder. That's awful, man. I can't imagine the suffering.
It's going to be the most expensive baked Alaska that hotel ever served.
Oh man.
And again, I don't blame the waiter in any way, shape, or form here.
No.
Absolutely not.
And I'll tell you what, she's gonna get banked.
Big time. And she deserves it. Quite right as well.
Because she's not gonna be able to freaking work for the rest of her life.
I think you've got a pretty reasonable expectation that when you go out for a meal, you should at least come home with all of your bodily parts intact, Joe.
Yeah,
Or
well,
else somebody needs to pay big bank, you know?
Here's the thing about that, right? That's what insurance is for. So the hotel's insured. The insurance is going to cover it, and life goes on. And it's a shame for the woman, but that's what insurance is for. That's what you pay insurance for. These insurance companies is to deal with these moments when they arise. And
Now,
it's inevitably going to happen.
I'm
It
sure
does.
this pink hotel will go on. Okay.
It will.
But talk about an overreaction in the UK. Because we've got a brewery boss who got absolutely incandescent with rage. Why did he get so mad? Well, he went to a new pub that they've just opened, and as you can see here, a brewery boss shuts down brand new pub after hearing customers swearing. Wah, wah, wah. It's a pub, Joe.
In a pub, dude.
Swearing in a pub. Get it closed down immediately. Close the doors, it says here, the boss of the UK's largest independent brewery. And I would suggest if he wants it to remain the largest, he stops going to the taverns that he's providing, okay?
I was going to say, wait a minute. It's the largest independent brewery.
Yep.
So is that like a microbrew?
It would be, well, an independent, it'd just be a company. It's not a microbrew, I wouldn't. No, it's just like,
you don't think it's just
over here, I mean, you got over here, dude. We've got so many different brands of ale and beer and lager, and so it says here when we've got the pub chains. You've got your Witherspoons, and you've got Yates as well. But it says the boss of the UK's largest independent brewery and pub chain has shut down its newest establishment after he popped in for a pint and overheard a punter swearing. This is just crazy. Humphrey Smith. Yes, old Humphrey there. He runs Samuel Smith's, was visiting the Fox and Goose in Droitwich Spa, Worcestershire, 7 weeks after it opened. And it said, but when the 74-year-old heard another drinker dropping the F word while telling his wife a joke, he decided immediately to close the place, the SWNS news agency reports. So the hereditary boss of the brewery, which is based in Tadcaster, North Yorkshire, dates back to 1758 and is known for running his company with a rod of iron. He previously banned bad language and mobile phones at all 200s of its pubs to encourage conversation. Now then, that there I kind of like. Because, you know, many times now do you go into a public setting, Joe, and the majority of people, they're not having face-to-face conversations. I've even seen people sitting there talking to one another, but not looking at each other anymore. They're just still kind of scrolling through and talking.
But that's tough because now you're encouraging. Okay, so on the one hand, these devices encourage behavior. But on the other hand, you know, you're trying to encourage behavior as well by banning mobile phone use in your establishment. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I can tell you.
Oh, hang on. We've got first-hand account here.
To it. I just want to finish. There's a value to it, and there is, to me, a value to etiquette in some way, shape, or form, much like radio etiquette or anything else that should be there, or even in debate. You know, same thing. There should be etiquette. We've lost that. We've lost it all. So doing stuff like this in a way that not only cultivates conversation in a face-to-face type of manner, which I think is absolutely lacking, I'm not opposed to it. As a matter of fact, you as somebody that wants a pint can choose to go there or not, knowing that that's the rules. So what? You know?
Well, somebody in the chat room, Joe, actually worked for this cat.
No way.
Oh, him. In my honest opinion, he's an absolute tosser. Worked for him once, banned live music in his establishments too. Yes. So it goes on to say here, the Hereditary Boss, which is based in Tadcaster, banned all that. But the sudden shutdown of the Fox and Goose has now left landlord Eric Lowry, who lives in a flat above the pub with wife Tracy, looking for both a new job and somewhere to live. Writing on the pub's Facebook page, he said, I'm so sorry, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith being down and shut the pub. I love all you people that have stood by me and Tracy and have looked after us. So customer Tony Haycock said the pub had been shut for years before it opened again. It was fantastic to pop into after work. It was a family friendly, takings were up, the pub was spotless, and there's been no trouble. Regulars were all well behaved as we all pulled together as a community. And there it is there, all boarded up again now. And all because somebody swore. He came in, had a drink, and seemed happy. But he said he heard a man talking to a woman, and the man swore. It wasn't aimed at him. It was nothing at all. He shut the pub for one swear word, taking all the money from the till and safe, and let the pub landlady and left the pub landlady and landlord jobless and homeless. It's not like it was closed after a brawl. And another local said the man was telling his wife a dirty joke and said the F word. It wasn't even aggressive. They were both laughing and joking. No one can quite believe the pub's been shut. It's a bit daft, really, because a pub's where you go to let off some steam and enjoy a bit of banter with other people. And it's not the first time Mr. Smith has taken umbrage at customers. In 2017, he banned motorcyclists from drinking in the Royal Oak at Ulley, near Rotherham, because he did not want so-called undesirables there. Funnily enough, nobody was available for a comment. That's just crazy. I really think the board, the people need to have a word with this guy and tell him, listen, don't go into the pubs. But it sound like there's something else going on here. It sounds almost like he was going in there to find an excuse to shut this down.
Almost, yeah. I wonder what the backstory is here.
I think there's more to this than meets the eye.
Me too.
I really, really do. Even if the guy is a bit of an a-hole, I still think there's a lot more to this than what they're letting on, Joe. But weird, eh?
Yeah.
Talk about Snowflake weird. UK. Even people that own breweries don't like people swearing in their pubs.
Very interesting.
Very weird.
Very weird. I got this other one here, Bristol Live.
Oh, yeah, man. Another weird one.
Yeah, mom pulls kid out of school because he was given tuna sandwich after a long poo.
And I had to read that a couple of times just to make sure like it hadn't been cut off or something, like something, maybe there wasn't some text missing. But no, it literally means the kid went for a long number 2. And Joe, get into it.
Hey, first of all, I have to ask a serious question. What is it with painted eyebrows?
Oh, dude, I've got no idea. No idea at all.
What's wrong with what's wrong with your eyebrows? Why you gotta put paint on them? I mean, that's like painted.
It's like I showed you that Scottish guy, the comedian, who was talking about the eye. He went on and got a big deal because of that skit he done in his car, right? But the guy's right. At no point ever in the history of mankind have people like me and Joe, 2 dudes, been stood in a bar, one that you can swear in, and some really attractive girl walks in, and at no point have I been nudging Joe, don't look now, Joe. That thing just came in at 3:00. Look at the eyebrows on her. Oh, no dude ever had that conversation, girls.
Never once.
No, there's no reason to be taking off your eyebrows and then taking so long to put fake ones back on. I don't get it.
Nope. Not at all. It says here, a furious mom said her son went all day without food when hot school.
Joe, can I just ask, does she have to paint her eyes on it? Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks, lads. Great show, again.
Awesome. So, Joe, like I was saying, if she is in some kind of angry or distressed mood, does she have to run to the toilet and paint on a different angle of eyebrows so that you can tell she's got an expression happening?
I don't know.
She could do the cartoon ones, like triangles.
Yeah, like, do you have to change it with your mood?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like a dry erase board.
Maybe we could get, maybe there'll be like smart makeup soon so that it will know your emotions and all the nanobots will like form your like emotional eyebrow. Smart brow.
Yeah, it says Stacy Jarvis decided to pull her son out of school because of the row, which left her fuming. She said the year 5 pupil was offered a tuna sandwich when hot meals ran out because he took his time on the toilet. Yes, the 31-year-old said Jaden had never liked tuna, and so he didn't eat the whole school day. This is what people decide to focus their news on. She says she kept him out of Thanet Primary School in East Hull until she got an apology for making him upset and hungry.
Hang on though, maybe the kid took an unnaturally long time for a number 2.
That could be, dude. Miss Jarvis said, they pulled me in when I picked the beans up. Picked the beans up?
Local speak for children.
Gotcha. And said, Jaden will come out and tell you he had no lunch because he had took his time on the toilet. So the only option left was a tuna sandwich, and he doesn't like it. And it said, I said I was a phone call away, and they could have rang me to bring a lunch. It's in so that at least he was fed. And now, see, that makes sense. They could have done that.
Hello, Mrs. Eyebrow. Yeah, it's just to let you know that your kid took a really uncanny time to do a shit. And could you bring like that spare lunch to the school? Yeah, no problem. I'll be right there. When does that phone call ever take place, Joe?
I don't know. It says here they said I was too busy to give you a call. So I said all the staff in this school and no one could give me a call. I was fuming. It says here he usually gets a hot meal. Oh, he usually gets a hot meal, but he was having a poo. And they apparently made 3 year sixes a cheese sandwich, but Jaden only got offered a tuna sandwich.
Well, what if there was no cheese left because he was shitting for too long?
It's true. I mean, now the mom, who is pregnant with her 4th child, continued, said, I tried talking to the head about it, but her attitude was, I never got told. So I said, this is why I've come to you. You're meant to know about issues that go on with parents and pupils.
No, I'm sorry, but there's no like reasonable expectation for a head mistress or master to know the toilet like regime of all of the students.
No. Not only that, but I mean, if shame on him. You know, if that's the case, dude, pinch it off, eat your stuff, and go back and finish it off.
At that time of day, it's a tactical number 2 at best.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is he just doesn't know that.
But he does now.
Tactical shitting.
He'll look back at that tuna sandwich, and that tuna sandwich will have taught him a valuable life lesson.
That's right. See that? So now I personally would say that to the mom here, exactly what you said, Kev. This is a valuable life lesson in tactical shitting.
Exactly. There's a time and a place, Joe.
Honest to God, what would she say to that? What would the news say to that? See, this would not be on Bristol Live. This would have moved over to Metro.
Yeah, Sky News would have taken it up at this point. Excuse me, Mrs. Eyebrow, but this has been a valuable lesson for your snowflake that we're helping to indoctrinate here. Hopefully one day he'll be thankful. He'll look at the tuna sandwich and he'll be happy.
That's right. No doubt.
Yeah.
No.
It won't be the cause of his objectphilia. He's in the toilet with a traffic cone every lunchtime. Get a grip of your child. There's something far wrong with him. He's doing really, really unspeakable things to inanimate objects.
Do you want to get black pilly?
Of course, Joe. Everyone needs to take the bleak pill now and again.
Okay, so you remember a few years back.
She looks like she's taking the black coal to her eyes.
Her eyes, yeah. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Anyway, you remember a few years back the swine flu and all the ooga booga about swine.
And the avian flu that left chickens preferring attractive people. I certainly do, Joe.
Absolutely. Well, there's something that is akin to it, but not. And what we could be looking at is a hog-apocalypse.
Oh, the hog-apocalypse, you say, my friend.
Yes, I do. Not apocalypse, a hog-apocalypse. That's right. And Kim Jong Un could be the guy spearheading it, and no one knows, but it's coming. That's right. The African swine fever is said to have spread across North Korea, and this virus risks becoming endemic, dispersing to its neighboring states, of course, China being the biggest one. And guess what? We do a lot of pork exchange, us and China.
A lot of
So that's
parking, you say?
a lot of porking. That's
Well,
right.
I like it. Eastern parking, my friend.
That's right. Bloomberg.com says by official accounts, the pig contagion, wreaking havoc across Eastern Asia, has virtually skipped over North Korea with a single outbreak reported there in May. But wayward feral pigs have stoked concern that Kim Jong Un's reclusive state is hiding an African swine fever disaster.
Do you think maybe it's like, are they going to unleash them on the world?
See, I don't know, but I can tell you that the majority of the world, there's two major meats, but pork is like numero uno as far as like in a worldwide type of thing. It's especially in China. China pork is like supreme, and if there's anything that devastates the pork industry, it has serious effects on China's food supply, and also, because different culture. So some people are so extreme, there's no substitute. So it's crazy. Anyway, it says here 5 wild boars were found dead in or near border areas separating the two countries this month before being tested positive for the viral hemorrhagic disease that officials in North Korea said. The finding reflects the freedom with which animals roam the 4-kilometer wide buffer zone that divides the nation and creates an involuntary park and refuge for fauna.
I'm telling you right now, Joe, this shit scares the goobly bits out of me, man.
Yeah. It also
viruses and stuff. Oh, dude.
Yeah, it hints as a spillover of the deadly virus from North Korea, where unofficial reports indicate the disease is spreading out of control. South Korea has deployed helicopters to disinfect parts of the 250-kilometer-long border barrier, near which more than a dozen outbreaks have occurred on farms since the virus was first reported there a month ago. African swine fever has spread to almost all areas of North Korea, and pigs in the western province of North Pyongan have been wiped out, says Lee Hae-hoon, who chairs the National Assembly Intelligence Committee, citing South Korea's National Intelligence Service.
Doesn't he sound like a very comfortable person? Lee Hae-hoon, hey, Lee Hae here.
Lee Hae.
Oh, damn, dude.
Says here the virus killed 22 hogs in May on a cooperative
22,
farm.
you say? That's an Illuminati calling card. That.
But that's the problem. Listen, they only reported 22. And that was on May 30th. But since then, there's been no follow-up reports and scant coverage in state media. But it gets worse. It says here the Food and Agricultural Organization has found no information beyond the report it received by the OIE. Says Wantani Kalpravdia, the United Nations Agency Bangkok-based regional manager of the Emergency Center for Transboundary Animal Diseases.
He's a good dude, Tim. He's a good dude.
Right on. Says the FAO is awaiting approval to send a delegate to North Korea. But widespread transmission of African swine fever, which isn't known to harm humans but kill pigs kill most pigs in a week, may put North Korea's food security in graver jeopardy. Crop productions there is forecast to be smaller than usual for the rest of 2019 due to below average rainfall and low water supplies for irrigation. About 40% of the population, or 10.1 million people, are estimated to be food insecure and in urgent need of food assistance. African swine fever will worsen, and hunger and malnutrition will get worse, of course. Says Cho Chung-gi, who fled North Korea in 2011 after spending a decade working for the government's animal disease control program. Many North Korean households raise pigs to earn money to buy rice. So that's the thing with North Korea, is it's not like you have central places that you can account for these things. everybody raises pigs.
Yeah.
So how do you clamp down when you have so many people that live in outlying areas that and all these remote areas that do
And
this?
by the
You
signs
can't.
of it, you take that pig away, then their livelihood's gone. They're not eating.
Right. It says pork accounts for about 80% of the North Korean protein consumption, and with global sanctions in place, it's hard to be. It's going to be hard for the country to find an alternative protein source, says Cho, who now works as a researcher at Good Farmers, a Seoul-based non-governmental organization that supports developing nations to generate profit through agriculture activities. It says the virus is extremely destructive as people are now unable to make money through raising pigs while the country's economy is restrained. Pigs raised by individual farms outnumber those on state-owned and collective farms. That's the crazy part. Uh, it's a good part, but that's the drawback.
I tell you what, Joe, you often hear people saying, what's your line in the sand? And when they start going after the world's bacon supply, that's me, dude. I'm starting to I'm wanting to mobilize now.
Yeah, me too. It says here that, and this is the important part here. Pigs raised by individual farmers outnumber those on state-owned and collective farms, which will make it almost impossible to halt the spread, especially given North Korea's inexperience preventing and mitigating epidemics in animals. Now, the lack of capacity is a threat to the entire Korean peninsula, where the virus could become endemic or generally present, and that would make it more difficult to stamp out the disease through the usual steps of quarantining and culling diseased and vulnerable livestock. From there, it could re-enter neighboring China and Russia. South Korea has culled 154,653 pigs at 94 farms as of October 11th. That's a lot.
It's a lot of pigs.
Yeah. Routine tests for the virus on wild boars were introduced by Pyongyang before the Pyongyang outbreak. Now streams and soil near the border are being tested. So they're even doing that. The fact that North Korea, this is the end quote, but it's very relevant here. It says the fact that North Korea has reported the outbreak to an international organization suggests the situation is probably getting out of their hands. And this is the black pill moment. It's an apocalypse in the making.
This is where the rabbit hole roller coasters, wow, it's doing a 360, folks. Your stomach's in your mouth right now.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Apocalypse at that.
I'm doing my hardest to keep my bacon,
right?
my bacon sandwich in my belly because I don't know if it's the last one I may ever get, Joe.
Yeah. The other white meat.
What if they're just telling porkies?
Yeah. Hey, now wait a minute though. Right? Could this not also be a conspiracy to
Piggate?
Well, to boost the price of bacon. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Over here in the U.S., eggs, the price of eggs has bottomed out. I mean, the floor's dropped out. And right now, if you go to Wally World, you can get 3 dozen eggs for $3.47. So, I mean, cheap. And I wonder if some of these campaigns aren't geared toward boosting pork prices or putting some cushion underneath them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost akin to like the oil stuff. Oh God, Iran coughed today.
Joe,
so things go up $5 a barrel.
I was listening to a YouTuber as well, Dave Cullen, I think his name is. That Computing Forever or Forever Computing channel, the Irish boy. And he says himself he's just thinking aloud, but I tell you what, he made me think so he did, because likes of all the controversy around the Joker film, all the outrage, the fact that this is going to trigger people, blah, 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 and everything else that's going on. In one way of looking at it, this is like the best way for viral marketing campaigns to take place now. You have the media coming out with their full outrage, because usually they're outraged over nothing in the first place. And with such outrage at the Joker movie, it's driving people who would never even have looked at the Joker movie to go and check it out. So whether it's knowingly or probably unknowingly, but at the same time, Dave's right, Could it be that we're looking at this wrong? It's almost as if it's a way of driving people back into the programming.
Maybe, I don't know. I just always look at things a little bit differently when I see these kind of articles come out.
Same here.
Especially when they're promoted by like economics periodicals and things like that, because it promotes that atmosphere that would prop prices up.
Yep.
And when everything's speculative, like it is now, it just makes for
anything like this is going to affect the markets, Joe.
Right. So then you have to wonder, okay, so what's the deal? Is it really as bad as they say it is? And
somebody making a killing on the pig market.
Right. Oh boy, look at this over here. Let's put that out there because maybe, poof. But really, there's nothing bad. I don't.
What is it with pigs, dude? Pigs are like what? They're like 1% different genetically than us or something.
Something like that. All I can say is that you don't have to worry. Chinese bacon may be affected, Kev, but American bacon.
That's okay because apparently I've been told in Beijing I don't have the correct credit score to get a bacon sandwich in the first place.
Oh, that's right.
The plans I didn't have to go to China are still on hold. And I'm sure if I am to have a bacon sandwich anywhere, it's probably going to be here or in America where the pigs are happy. Where pigs are pigs and sheep are cloned. Yes, indeed.
Do you then qualify for a square sausage sandwich then?
Oh, nice. Square sausage. You'd have to come over here for your square sausage.
No. We can get it here.
You think so?
I've seen it.
You think so?
I've had a square sausage sighting.
Really? Or is it like, did you have it in a dream?
No. You can get them in the freezer section over here.
Nice. So you're not denied the perfect sacred geometry of the sausage.
They exist.
Do you call it sausage over there? I wear chips and your crisps and fries and chips.
Very much so.
Okay. Nothing got lost in translation there then?
No, not in that regard. I mean, there are other things that we differ with, but that...
I'll tell you something. We'll talk about different. Will we go to the story that you sent? You know her that used to fly around on Broomstick One?
God bless it. Here we go.
You weren't trying to avoid this because you're the one that provided this.
I only gave it to you because I know you have an affinity in your heart for Hillary Clinton.
Well, listen, like I said to you earlier on, if the horrible choice was presented to me of I either have to have happy fun time with Hillary or her far younger daughter Chelsea, I'm going for a respectable evening on Broomstick One, Joe. I'm sorry, I am. And especially after reading this headline that you don't see every day.
Yeah. That is just...
awkward. Chelsea Clinton emphatically states that a person with a beard and a penis can absolutely identify as a woman. Well, Mom Hillary shuffles around looking very confused and doesn't know what day of the week it is. No, conflicted, as she blames generational differences for not being open, or for not being as open to trans rights. Wah. Yes, indeed.
I say, what is the world coming to? But
smoke weed every day.
Yeah, sure you will.
I think that's what these two have been doing. Yes, indeed. So, according to Chelsea, it's perfectly natural for anyone with a beard and a swinging bit to identify as a woman. And like I said to Joan earlier on, yes, but it doesn't make you a woman, and you can identify as a traffic cone.
Edward Lamoureux in the chat room says he'd choose the pig, personally. So he's door number 3. Yeah.
Personally, I find chickens attractive when presented with a Clinton option. Dang, dude.
Ouch.
Yeah, and like I say, it's not, look at this. I don't mean to ugly shame people, but dang, dude.
But you can't help it. You can't help it, and it just is what it is. Let's be politically correct.
Isn't she married to like some kind of Rothschild dude?
Something like that. And good for her.
She looks like she would suit a beard.
I'll bet you that she has one that she probably puts on at night along with the big barbed strap on.
Probably, dude. Probably a
Yeah.
varying range of vajankle attire in a cupboard
Oh,
somewhere.
Kev,
Probably.
I just don't. She's reproduced. I just want you to understand that. Let's just put that in perspective for just a second, okay? She's reproduced, and that bothers me, man.
But that bothers me too, dude. It bothers me greatly.
It affects me at a core level, and I can't really.
Can't fathom it.
No.
No, absolutely not. So it says it may appear that Hillary and Chelsea always see eye to eye, but in a recent interview, one topic cracked the facade of the like-minded mother-daughter power duo. The one issue Hillary and Chelsea don't appear to agree on entirely is transgender self-identification. Well, don't worry about it because you've confused an entire generation with this babble as well. In an interview with the Sunday Times, journalist Decca Aikenhead. Decca. Now that's kind of like gender fluid. What the hell's a Decca? Who's that?
That's a universal name.
Yeah, it's like he one day, she the next. Asked of the Clintons if somebody with a beard and a penis can ever be a woman. Because, I mean, that's a perfectly natural question to ask an ex-first lady, right? To which Chelsea replied emphatically, yes, yes, you virtue-signalling, pandering fool. However, as Aikenhead describes it, Hillary looked uneasy and blamed generational gaps on being less accepting. I'm just kind of learning about this, Hillary said. It's a very big generational discussion because it's not something I grew up with or ever saw. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to understand what it means to defining yourself or to be defining yourself differently. Yes, indeed.
How many people did we highlight the other day that regret that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
Big
This
time.
is the thing, is like they're promoting this behavior when we just have to come to grips with what it is, right? So if you have a penis, you are a female. No. You're a male. No. You're it. See, this is what we're getting to. Like, people are confused. They don't know. I hate to say that it's bad that we've gotten to this point.
You see, the thing is, right, this is a real issue for some people out there, not to knock it, but people like Hillary Clinton, and more so in this case, Chelsea Clinton, they're the ones that are using this whole thing as an agenda. They're using it to look, oh, so progressive and to forward their own dastardly plans, Joe. Yes.
I know she wants to run. Not Hillary, Chelsea. She wants to run for Congress.
I tell you, if you ever want to see me running, just get her to start pursuing me. Man, oh man, I'll be running faster than, I don't know, Carl Lewis back in the day. Big time. The Clintons sat down with Aikenhead to promote the book they co-authored, The Book of Gutsy Women. Favourite stories of courage and resilience. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that must be, fraught with tales of the hardship that they suffered when they were bringing Chelsea up, struggling to make ends meet, before the days of the Clinton Foundation and robbing everyone.
I want to throw a quick downside out there just so in case you're not considering this. And I am not in any way defending the Clintons at all. But she grew up an extremely ugly child.
Extremely ugly child.
The comments and the tomfoolery that was probably associated with that was probably excessive. Yeah.
Like you say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, yeah?
Oh, man, she probably had her fair share. Dude, have you seen Hillary Clinton's, teenage pictures?
Oh, but she's bad.
Oh, dude, she was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Absolute train wreck, And like you say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But this Chelsea Clinton thing for Congress, are you kidding me? Oh, God, please no. And not because I vote or I even take part in that whole process. It has nothing to do with that.
Well, this infuriates me. This is why you gave me this. You wanted to trigger me, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, here we go. So it says here, quote, how can you treat somebody if you don't recognize who they feel and know in their core they are, Chelsea says. And how can people recognize, who they are themselves? How can young children go on to discover themselves when you've confused them along the way? But it's not that bit that annoys me. No. I strongly support children being able to play on the sports team that matches their own gender identity. So let me get this straight. So one of the male kids who is last in every race when he's racing against other boys, the one who doesn't get picked for the soccer team because he doesn't happen to be as good as the other boys there that are getting selected, he can now go and take a girl's place in the soccer team, or naturally, because he's physiologically different and he's built different, he's biologically different, and he's a dude, he's going to run the races and win them. How's that fair on the girls? How does this promote equality, Joe? It doesn't.
It totally muddies the waters, and but that's exactly what it's intended to do. It reminds me of that Russian guy that Popeye always hobs the knob on there, that talks about the levels of brainwashing that go on, the one that Popeye gives a lap dance to. I can't, Yuri something, I can't remember. But
I know it's an older video, but it's spot on.
Video that G. Edward Griffin did. But anyway, it basically demoralizing the society is a pivotal step to gaining that control over it. And that's exactly what's happening, is you're just muddying the waters here. It's some of the most basic things like sexuality, gender, and, you're also tying it to things like professionalism. What does sexuality have to do with professionalism? They don't. What does sexuality have to do with anything in the workplace? It doesn't. So why does it enter there? It shouldn't. And that's the issue that I have, is that they're just, people need to just relax, dude. That's
let
really,
kids be kids.
Just
Don't
cool out, right?
Yeah, let kids do their thing. Kids aren't interested in this crap until they talk to them about it. Yeah, exactly.
No, let kids be kids. They're going to play doctor. They're going to figure things out. And then after that, then you cross that bridge.
Each to their own, dude. And once you get to be an adult and you realize that you're different, whatever that feels like, not knocking it, but you're not hurting anyone. And at that point, it's very consensual. You know what you're doing, and have at it. That's what I always say when it comes to that kind of thing. If you're not hurting anyone and you're happy with what you're doing, go for it. But when you're confusing kids, and it's not just that myself and Joe are speculating anymore. We showed that video. We watched that the other day, didn't we, Joe? Where literally young people in the UK are now finding that, guess what? They weren't Jilly when they were born Johnny, and now they want to go back to being Johnny, and they can't. And then you've got clinics. And there's one at a Tavistock clinic in the north of England, and I'll need to dig this up. But she's actually suing the people in this clinic because they're not giving the right advice out, and they're not telling people the dangers attached to the hormone blockers that they're encouraging these kids to be put on. And not only that, but they're also using trial drugs as well, Joe. They've basically been using these kids as
guinea pigs.
An absolute guinea pig. No mistaking, the Tavistock Clinic, it's called. I'll dig it up because people might not believe that, and I want to back up what we're saying,
No, absolutely. And that, of course, being... But when you look at it like that, Kev, I mean, that's what it is. It's a proving ground for all that stuff. And they're weeding it out so they know.
There you go. UK mum sues Tavistock Children's Clinic over misleading and experimental gender change treatments.
Yeah, why, if...
A state-sponsored gender or child gender reassignment clinic.
Let me ask you something. Who's defending this child? And, that is a question, because really the mom is probably saying, well, I'm defending the child because I'm letting them explore their sexuality or whatever. And me, I'd be saying I'm defending the child because the child at this point shouldn't be even worried about it.
Yeah.
So what the hell are you doing? So who's right?
I would
Well,
say you. I think it's abusive.
I'm on my side.
Yeah.
I've got on my side. This stuff, these problems never existed.
Tell you what, we're going to look back on this period at some point in the future. Not us personally, but people are going to go, what the hell were that lot up to? What was going on back then? You know, it says England's first state-sponsored child gender reassignment clinic, only in the UK,
Sponsored.
has been slapped with a lawsuit by a mother of a patient and a former nurse at the centre who say experimental treatments are being forced on kids as young as 11. Now, this is just out the other day, folks. This is October the 12th this year. It says the suit, first reported by the Times, alleges the Tavistock Clinic in Leeds and its GIDS, Gender Identity Development Service, painted an inaccurate and potentially misleading picture about the risks of hormone blockers, which are used to delay sexual development in children who wish to switch genders. Now, the case was brought by the mother of a 15-year-old patient patient at the clinic who is only identified as Mrs. A, and Sue Evans, who worked there as a mental health nurse between 2003-2007. Evans told the Times that she was concerned with how rapidly children were recommended for hormone treatment at the clinic, which some experts say can have serious medical risks, including loss of fertility and the ability to ever have an orgasm. Families are not made aware of some of those dangers. Now, reading between the lines here, Joe, that this suggests to me, right, we know that they talk to kids in schools about these things. And for example, the daughter or son of Mrs. A comes along and says, listen, I found that quite interesting, what you were talking about there. Have you got any other literature or anything I can go and check out more? Oh, you're interested, are you? Well, let's get you down to the clinic and let's get you on the tablets. We've got one. We've got one. That's what it sounds like to me, dude.
Me too.
The minute you show any interest, it's like, whoa,
Jump
capture
right
that
in.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think it's more experimental. And people are being used as guinea pigs, and then to drum up the guinea pigs, that's what they do, is they start a social engineering campaign for it. And it's unbelievable, really, truly. I wonder like I said, what is the true motivation behind all this experimentation with gender reassignment and all that kind of
Screwing
stuff?
us up to the point where they break the reproductive system and they can roll out hybrids and incubator factories. I know, sci-fi, but what is the end goal? Where are we going with this?
Certainly sounds more realistic. And judging by the path and looking at the past and what it's brought us to today, it's a very realistic speculation there, Kev. I mean,
What is it going to be? Only the elites that are allowed to reproduce? Is it only going to be certain class that's allowed to do that?
Each society's going to be classed, and people will be genetically assigned and trained based on, they'll be designed for their tasking. It's crazy.
Well,
that's what
it sounds crazy, but then you've got stories like this. Just the other day, the sociology professor claims she was paid to have children while working for the London School of Economics in the 60s under its eugenesis scheme to encourage society's brightest people to reproduce. Oh, so you're not making it up, Kev? No, I'm not making it up, and it's nothing new. Crazy.
Very crazy.
So, dude, we're almost out of time. We're almost there. It's been a different one tonight. You triggered me. You knew
did.
fine.
Man, it all started with the whole microphone blowing up thing.
This is why I am bombarded. I don't know if you've noticed, Joe, but if you watch the ads on my videos, it's like for male products like manscaping and all that kind of male toxic stuff. I think the algorithm, it's got my card well marked. But it doesn't help with you triggering me. This does it to me.
Oh, I like it, though, because then I don't have to deal with all those horrific commercials that just don't appeal to me.
This is why I have to
Smoke weed every day.
It's this kind of shit that leads to it,
At a
dude.
minimum.
At least once. So it's been happening with the shadow dude, Joe.
Not much. Well, we got a new video. It says Daymares 2, Kev, and I guess he's had some new paranormal investigators out to his house.
Yeah, I don't. It's a long video, so I don't really want to. I would rather let people go and check that out for themselves. But yeah, again, he's inviting more paranormal investigators, Joe.
Yeah,
That
I can't wait to check that out.
it adds to the veracity of the claims, I feel.
Yep.
Definitely. And this is the shadow dude that we've been talking about for a while now, thankfully, touch wood. You know, I actually feared, Joe, I'll tell you right now, I feared because we were talking shadow dudes that the thing I seen in my toilet may return. But no.
It could.
No, if it does, I wouldn't even tell anyone anyway. It would sound like I'm LARPing.
I know.
I've got the ghost LARP going on.
But hey, you may end up being just a part of a larger crowd because the Independent is saying that aliens will likely be
dude.
30 years. And this according to a Nobel Prize winning astronomer.
Well,
So
what
even
about the one the other day where NASA came out and said, listen, there's going to be a big announcement on life on Mars soon, but we don't know if people are ready for it.
Yeah, well, life how though? You know what I mean? It's like what
No,
is it?
they've found a Taco Bell
Right, yeah.
right across from Cydonia.
It says a Nobel Prize winning astronomer has predicted that humans will find evidence of alien life in the next 30 years. Professor Didier Queloz from Switzerland, said he was convinced of the existence of extraterrestrial life after winning the 2019 Nobel Prize in Physics. Says, I can't believe we're the only living entity in the universe. There are just way too many planets, way too many stars, and the chemistry is universal. Let me stop there. I absolutely think that in a simulation could be programmed where you have a vast universe and one culture, one life, like humanity, and then there's nothing else. It could very well be the case. It could also be the case that there's draft people on the other side of the universe too. You know, it's just too vast, and there's too much that we don't know to even go there. But I will say that for them to just write it off is also wrong. You know, that people get vilified when they say, well, it's a possibility that humanity is the only thing. You know, that Earth's ecosystem is the only living ecosystem or whatever. It's still a possibility, even though it's small.
I think most star systems, I would hazard a guess that most star systems will have at least one planet where some form of life has taken hold.
Right.
I honestly think that, yeah. Now, whether it's life that we would recognize it by our parameters or not, who knows?
No.
Whether it's intelligent or not, with the universe as big as it is, there's going to be everything out there. There'll be dumb ones, there'll be super smart ones, there'll be bug ones, there'll be everything.
If it's a simulation, though, the simulation is going to be what the creator of the simulation wants it to be, not what naturally happens when or how or where. It's going to be what the program does when it runs it or when it executes it.
Well, I would say that if the conditions are right for it to take place or take hold on one planet, then those conditions can be found throughout the entire simulation. And they could, and I'm kind of pulling on No Man's Sky, the computer game that literally creates that universe. And because all of the potentials are there with the chemistry that's throughout the universe, then and it doesn't look the same from planet to planet because it randomly generates what shape and what form that life takes. Some insectoid, some silica based. It's all different, and I don't know. I just think it would be really, really, and again, simulation. So it might just appear that it's vast, when in reality, it's just really us here in the.
Could you imagine?
You know me, Joe, when it comes to simulation, I think that with our level of thinking, that template, it ticks a lot of the boxes.
It sure does.
Doesn't
It
mean
sure
it doesn't mean we're literally in a computer game, folks. I think
No,
that's what turns a lot of people off to this idea. Doesn't
I-
mean that, but I think it explains a lot, Joe. It does.
It sure does. And, that's the problem is, again, we look at it through the human lens.
Yeah.
That's because you can't, how do you
I'll tell you
explain-
whether we're the only thing in the universe or it's teaming. I would argue that we've got to be the most arrogant. We've got to be up there, right? We've
I don't
got to
know.
be up
If
there,
the
dude.
Klingons are real, if the Klingons are real, I think they're more arrogant than we are.
You think so?
I do.
Can't
And
blame the
Rom-
Borg. They're a collective. It's not their
No.
fault.
They don't have arrogance. They're just the Borg.
Oh, imagine we end up the Borg with Chelsea Clinton at the center
Oh my
of the...
god. Yeah, she's like the.
We'll all be bearded drones, bearded lady drones,
Well,
all wearing vagina hats.
If you remember in that Star Trek movie where you had that the Borg female there that wanted to. It wasn't a human that she wanted to mate with. It was a sex robot, Data.
Very true.
So I mean, even Chelsea Clinton. It would probably have to be a sex robot.
I tell you, traffic cones is one thing, but you're hard up when Chelsea Clinton starts doing it for you.
Oof.
That's one below the vajankle, man.
Mm.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
we
And
have
I
time
feel,
there, buddy.
we're out of time. I feel no badness for ugly shaming any of the Clintons at all. No.
They deserve every bit of it.
Yeah, anyone else normally I wouldn't be that nasty and just horrible to, but it's a Clinton. Come on, they're allowed. They're a target. They're public enemy number one.
Completely agree with you, my friend.
But we're out of time now. Tomorrow on the Kev Baker show, I've got Charlie Robinson coming up, and I'll be simulcasting that. So I'll be taking my floating day off from the safe space tomorrow. Anne's got a day off, so I'm gonna chill out. Make happy fun time with Annie. Prove to her that I can breathe through my ears, as you do, Joe.
God bless you.
I just got whacked, so there'll be no breathing through Kev's ears. Absolutely not. So, no, and then this week I've got a new guest coming up, Danny McKenney, and she's going to be talking about 2012 timelines, Mandela effects, magnetics, the magnetosphere, cosmic waves. Deep Woo, Joe. Deep Woo coming up this week, my
Very
friend.
nice, very nice indeed.
Yes,
I like
and
it.
of course the safe space during the week. And with that said, we're pretty much out of here, dude.
We're out of
I
5,000.
don't want you to be thinking about Hillary Clinton or her daughter now, folks. I know there's a couple of really twisted people out there.
Somebody in that chat. There is somebody in that chat, Kev, that right now is salivating over it, and it makes me sick.
Do you think they get off happy, like long time seeing that?
Somebody out there in that chat room right now is saying, "Yummy, yummy."
I think Chelsea
Hubba.
Clinton should be the face of a delay spray campaign. What do you think? You like that, Joe? You
Absolutely.
like that? And on that
Totally.
note, folks, we are out of here. Keep it real. Keep the mind open. Don't go having nasty dreams about the Clintons. And I'll be back tomorrow with Charlie Robinson. Are you ready for the big man? Yes, and his octopus. He's bringing his octopus a global control. Can you believe that, Joe? He's going to get down and dirty with the tentacles of the octopus. So that's KBS tomorrow, live on tfrlive.com and here on YouTube. Until then, love you and leave you. And I want to thank all the members out there. And if anyone wants to be a member, just click the join button on the channel page and you too can be in the VIP lounge every Sunday. And oh, Joe, I forgot to say, Nano Girl was asking for you earlier on, dude.
Very, very good.
Yes.
I am also, my heart goes out to her, and I hope when you talk to her next that she has all her preparation.
She says you're right now. Remember she used to say, no, Joe, you're wrong. They'll never do anything bad here because like Silicon Valley. She now told me to tell you she knows you're right. They don't give a damn about California. They've turned off the power. They don't give a hoot. So yeah, the big one's coming. Until next time, folks, we're out of here. Happy music. We need happy music after the Clintons. It almost cleanses the soul after talking about them.
Kind of reminds me of an ice cream truck.
A really creepy one with the Clintons selling you ice cream.
Blah.
Yep. She should be like telling you how she beat him all the time. Every time you go for a cone.
And
You do know I beat him, right?
with a white van and a cutout window.
And then you see like Chelsea the clown. Oh, hey there. Hey, Chelsea. Now that would be creepy, yeah?